Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. Actually, we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we're going to talk about, well, you know what I could talk about? In fact, I went to Opticians today. It's actually been my first Opticians trip in quite a few years, I think. It's one of the things it's sort of just been like, oh, you know, when's the last time I went to the Opticians? Wow, it turns out it was like 8 years ago or something. Probably should have gone ages ago, but you know, the good news, I suppose, you know, spoilers, I'm not going to clickbait you or anything, my eyesight hasn't changed since whenever I did it like it was 8 years ago, so you know, good job me, or I suppose good job my maturing adult body for not changing that much. I don't really know. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 5:14 PM on Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. Cautionary tale, so this must mean Crazy Red is the one who is here on our island, and we are probably going to ignore him. But yeah, the Opticians. I see most people have gone to the Opticians at least once in their life. I'm not really sure. It's not like the Opticians formula has changed that much within at least the last 20 years or something. Maybe a bit more than it has previously, but there's been like, you know, small changes here and there. If you don't know, I do wear glasses. My eyesight is not very good, is what I'll say. So I wear glasses basically all the time now. I started wearing glasses when I was quite young, actually. From year 2. How old's year 2? Hold on. Year 2 is 7, I think, for me. It was the most random story, but it's basically my sister was getting an appointment for to get her eyes tested, and you know, she's like older than me, and then you know, me being the annoying young child I am, I suppose, was like, oh, I want to get an optician's appointment too, or whatever. And then luckily the people who are working at Opticians were, you know, very nice and very thankful. You know, my mum was just like, is there any possibility that you can, you know, schedule in another appointment? And they'll be like, yeah, we can actually just technically squeeze you in right here. And then I was like, whoa, I guess. And I don't really remember what I reacted. I just, you know, it's sort of thing, you know, humans are social creatures, and I was like 6 or 7 or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know, I want to, you know, mimic my family, and, you know, they're doing something, so I want to do it too. So I did the optician's test. Turns out my eyesight was really bad, at least for that age. It wasn't okay. It wasn't like really bad. I think it was like -1, probably in both eyes. Short-sighted, right? It's not long-sighted. If you don't know the difference, short-sighted means I can't see things very far away from me, because it means it's not like the focal point is like closer than it should be or something. No, I'm trying to think how lenses work. Now I think about it. Yeah, but the focal point comes up short of my retina or the optic nerve or something, and long-sighted is if it comes out like too far, something like that. I don't really record off the top of my head. To be perfectly honest, it turns out my eyesight was pretty bad, and it was kind of a thing where, you know, obviously looking back at it, and you know, from an adult perspective or through adult eyes, but I realised that my eyesight was actually, you know, bad back in the day. Like I had trouble like watching TV all the way from the back of a room or whatever, and sometimes, you know, during school time it was a little bit difficult for me to see what was going on at the exam, not the exam board, the whiteboard, especially if I was at the back of a room or something like that. So obviously looking back, I was like, oh yeah, my eyesight was probably like slightly blurry or whatever, and then yeah, so you know, got my eyes tested, and I was like, whoa, it turns out, dear darling, you know, her eyes are not very good. So then I got more regular checkups. Like I can't remember what it is, like every 6 months or something, and my eyes got like progressively worse, I think, throughout the years. I remember like when I started wearing them in school as well, you know, like the teacher, I think she noticed or whatever, she noticed like me squinting at the board, because I couldn't see what was going on, or whatever. You know? And a lot of, you know, me not wanting to say I wore glasses or whatever, me just wanting to be like, oh, I'm just going to adapt to it, you know. And I remember what basically it was, I squint, and then I got really good at making out what the letters were, even though they were blurry, and like guessing and inferring what the rest of the question was in that sort of sense. So I got really good at basically guessing what the question was, and from vague shapes. So, you know, that's how I still managed to get the work done correctly and all that, but you know, I was still like basically squinting at the board, and she was like, she came up to me, you know, like after class one day, it was like, hey, you know, have you gotten like your eyes tested, or do you wear glasses or something? I was like, yeah, I do wear glasses. And she was actually very nice. She was a very lovely teacher. She was very encouraging, being like, oh yeah, why don't you wear them to school, you know, that sort of thing, so you can actually read the board and hopefully help you out and that sort of thing. You know, I was like all embarrassed by it, because, you know, I'm like 7 or something and doing anything slightly different. At that age, it's like, oh, you know, I'm trying to think about my societal standing here in this classroom or whatever. Not that literally anyone cares. For all you 6-year-olds, I suppose, out there wondering about your social standing in the classroom, you probably won't care about that so much and multiple years down the line, but probably even next year, to be honest. So, I brought them in. I was a bit like bashful, I suppose, to wear them or anything, and I put them on. And teacher, she was a good teacher, good at working with kids. Be like, "Whoa, dear, you look so smart while wearing them." That like boosted my confidence, I suppose, because especially at that age, I was like, "Oh, I want to be smart." Oh, I want to appear smart, I suppose, is the thing. So, I wore them from then on. And I just sort of became synonymous with wearing glasses. Glasses are, I just like wore glasses for like all the time, basically. Actually, I'm not sure if it was so all the time back in primary school at that sort of age, but certainly by the time I hit like year 4, year 5. So that put me around like from about 9 onwards. I think I wore my glasses basically all the time because my eyesight got like quite bad. It got to like -4, -5 or whatever. And you might be like, how did your eyesight get so bad? It's it's a mix of things. I'm sure it's a mix of genetics. It's also a mix of the fact I did a lot of reading when I was younger. I didn't read that much in the dark, and my parents always like stressed the importance to me. They will wear glasses as well. They're like, alright, you need to make sure that you read like a good distance away from your face, like at least 30 centimeters or whatever, in good lighting or whatever, so you're not straining your eyes. There's a thing where we said like, if you want to read, and like sometimes kids like reading like past their bedtime or whatever, like under the covers, that sort of thing. And my parents were basically sort of along the lines of look, but you're meant to be going to bed, or if you're meant to be, if you're reading at time you're not meant to be reading, please at least do it like in good lighting. Whatever, don't do it like secretly or whatever, or playing games or anything like that. Don't do it secretly. We'd rather you do it even if you're not meant to be doing it at that time. We'd rather you be doing it and not damage your eyes. So if anything, perhaps my eyesight could have been a lot worse. My parents weren't trying to instill that in me at the very least. But yeah, my eyesight got quite bad. I say quite bad. It's pretty livable. It's not like the most atrocious thing in the world. And it sort of started slowing down around my teenage years, of that sort of thing. So now my eyesight's around like -7 in each eye, which is not great. Like, I don't know. I can try and test something. What's something most people have? I've got like this tiny jar of Vaseline, I suppose, on my desk. If I take off my glasses, I can read it if it's about 15 centimeters, I think, away from my face. But anything past that, it's quite blurry. So yeah, that's basically anything about 15 centimeters or more from my face becomes quite unreadable. But it's something you should sort of get used to if you don't know. And it's also like, it's amazing, especially in primary school, a lot of people don't really understand how glasses work or short-sightedness works in first place. And in case you never really found out, it's basically just imagine you put like a huge blur filter in front of your eyes. That's basically what things look like. It's not like I can't see things. I can see things, but everything is like shapes. Everything is like, if I see a circle, if I see a square, it's going to become like, and I take off my glasses or whatever, I'm going to see the colour. I'm going to see it basically a blob of colour there, and it's going to have a roughly square shape, but all the edges are going to be incredibly blurry and like airbrushed, if anything, and very soft. And there's not going to be any sort of hard definition. Everything sort of melds together. That's basically what short-sightedness looks like. Don't know what long-sightedness looks like, to be honest, but I'd imagine it's the same sort of thing, but like in reverse, but for things close to you. Like you can't focus on things close to you. Basically, it's, when like cameras are out of focus, it's like that, but all the time. But yeah, this is sort of something you get used to, because obviously I don't wear my glasses all the time, I have to, still like have baths, have showers and that sort of thing. If I go swimming, I don't always wear my glasses and that sort of thing. If I go on like roller coasters, if I like, what else do I navigate? I'm trying to think. Like when I go to sleep, obviously I don't wear my glasses. So if I get up in the middle of the night, I'm pretty adept at sort of navigating without being able to see sort of very well. You don't really need much to see, much sight in the first place to really navigate particularly well, especially around your house. Once you sort of know where everything roughly is, you sort of just like can look at something and be like, oh okay, it's that colour and it's in roughly the place I expect. That's probably like my water bottle or something like that. You get used to it very quickly. But yeah, I mean, like, I wore glasses all basically throughout my entirety of secondary school. So much so, my friends basically know me from wearing glasses. So when I started wearing contacts, not all the time, I prefer wearing glasses because they're just more convenient, I think, than contact lenses, which you might find a bit strange, but I'll get more into that for a bit. Yeah, I basically wore glasses all the time. So much my friends were just like, whenever I took my glasses off, I'd be like, you look like a completely different person, because obviously they're so used to seeing me with my glasses on in the first place. Yeah, I had a few pairs of glasses throughout school and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I used to take them off during sport times, at least over my early years of secondary school, up till I'm gonna guess around GCSE. I'm not sure if that's quite right. No, probably a bit earlier than GCSE. Like, well, I started wearing contacts, I think, when I was 14 or 15, so around that sort of age. Did we visit Vivian? I don't remember. But the only times I put contacts in is if I was doing like sports, and it would be if I was like I didn't like wearing them for the whole day, because I much preferred wearing glasses, because you know I think I look better with glasses, or maybe I'm just more used to seeing me with glasses a lot of the time. But it was basically like, if I had sports that day, I'd wear contacts, and then only for certain sports. Like I would still wear my glasses for basketball, and you might be like, that seems pretty prone to getting your glasses broken. My glasses did actually break once when I was playing basketball. It was very funny, and it was like one of my friends, you know, still my friend, they shot and like scored a basket, or like attempted to score a basket, I can't remember, and it bounced off like way faster than I expected, straight into my face, and it just like snapped my glasses in two. Luckily, it was only the frame which snapped; it wasn't the lens or anything. And luckily it was also the second last lesson of that day, and unfortunately I still had art class after that, which was very weird without my glasses, but we were also doing like sculptures, so you know it didn't require much finesse or detail. And you know, I brought it to my dad and be like, the next day being like, oh, and you know, later that day being like, what do I do? And then he just like taped it together, whatever, until we got like replacement ones. So I mean, they didn't unfortunately break right on that like the nose bridge part, so I didn't have a stereotypical nerd glasses. They broke out of a hinge of the arm. So really, if anything, you can particularly notice all that well. I think. But yeah, I think that was more of a turning point where I was like, okay, I should really start wearing contact lenses and more often during sports, because you know it's not particularly feasible to get your glasses broken all that time. But I always wore them for like rugby and that sort of thing. I didn't wear them often on like football or hockey or that, but it was just really rugby, basically like contact sports, which only really rugby exists that we did. I might have worn them during gymnastics as well. I don't really recall off the top of my head. But yeah, I forgot what I was getting with this. Contact lenses. Yeah, so, you know, and I'd wear the glasses, and then I got into the habit of basically wearing the glasses for every day, and like with the break time before I had a sport lesson, I would put my contacts in, and then like as soon as it was done, I would take them out because I didn't like putting them in. Because especially at that time, I had very dry eyes. Nowadays, my eyes are like, I mean, they're still probably drier than the average person's eyes, but they're not like irritable. Or maybe I've got like better contact lenses on. I don't really know. Maybe I took better care of my eyes. Who can really say, to be honest? But nowadays I don't really mind contact lenses all that much. I would prefer them perhaps over glasses if they weren't so like annoying to like put in and put in and put off, and you know, and like the good thing with glasses is I can actually scratch my eyes, you know, because I get kind of itchy eyes, you know. I get affected by hay fever a little bit, you know. Sometimes I sneeze quite a lot, but most of the times it used to especially make my eyes quite itchy, and you know, you can't really itch your eyes when you've got contact lenses in unless you like sort of accidentally pop them out. So yeah, and I went to the optometrist today to get do the eye tests, you know, usual stuff. The eye tests have changed actually compared to what I've seen before, because what it used to be like 8 years ago was very simple. You know, you get you go to this one smaller room, and then you put like your head on this like device or whatever, and it basically like takes a picture, I think, of the back of your eye, and you see like a little photo of a very blurry. No, blurry for me because my eyesight's not good. Of a scene of like a house at the end of a long road, and they're just like, look at the house at the end of a road, and then it just like they take a picture as it like snaps into focus, and then it like slowly fades again, which I assume something scientific is going on there. I'm not really sure, to be honest. If you're an optometrist, perhaps you can enlighten that for me. And then, oh, Celeste is here. Whether we'll remember to actually get your recipe or not is guaranteed. I'm going to forget to get your recipe. And then you go into the actual main practitioner room, and then you know they put those like it used to be like fake glass frames you wear, and they put like the actual lenses into the frames themselves. It was like super thick, and like imagine glasses except for the actual frame part with the lenses in. Imagine you like stuck 6 of those also on the front of them, and they are basically like slots you can put in. They're like, I assume, different lenses, and then like they sort of like sum them all up when you're basically like, yeah, this seems right. Yeah, you sum them all up, and then boom, bada bing, bada boom, that's done. Yeah, and then afterwards you have another machine in there which you put your you put your chin rest on, and then it basically just shines a really bright light. I assume that's them looking at your eye. I don't really know, to be honest, but the bright light, where like look up to the ceiling, look to your right, look to your left, and down to the floor. And now look at my ear and all that sort of thing, and then like they hold it up like a stick or whatever and be like, you know, follow me under my finger, etc., etc. I assume they're just like looking for like imperfections in your eye or like damage to your retina. And I'm not really sure. I'm not an optometrist or whatever. But that's what it used to be. And then they got upgraded. They got rid of those glass frame things, and they got like this big. You've probably seen them now if you've actually been to the opticians. So it's like this huge machine which comes down, kind of like binoculars, like tourist binoculars that you see at like viewpoints at like certain attractions or whatever, and they pop it down inside your face, and like the lenses sort of like rotate about in there, and it's all like remotely controlled. And very fancy, by the way, and you know, I'm impressed by the technology. And it certainly seems a lot more convenient for the optometrist, especially to operate that sort of thing, rather than having to like manually swap in all these frames here and there. That's my assumption. Not an optometrist. Yeah, and all the tests, you know, you got your standard sort of like eye chart, whether, you know, you got your letters, and they're like, can you read anything from bottom row or whatever? And I remember the first time I tried to do it, I was hideously bad, and they had like a projector. That's how I did it. I think it's still how we do it or whatever. And I remember the first time I had my test, I literally couldn't read anything, but I didn't know, like, I didn't know that I could say I can't read it. So I just started guessing letters randomly, being like, using my sort of like assumption, like inference skills, you know, that I've picked up from, you know, not being able to read the board properly in the classrooms. So I'd be like, oh, you know, that's got kind of like a shape like that, and it kind of looks like there's some sort of diagonal thing going on there, like maybe that's a Z. And I remember consciously being like, I can't see any of this. But luckily the optometrists are kind of smart, and, you know, probably realised when I said like P for D or something, they're just like, maybe this child can't actually see the letters properly. But then there's also the other comparison thing, where you see like the numbers on a red and green split background, which I actually asked the optometrist today. I was like, what does that actually test? And then I forgot what she said. I think she said it tested a site in something, but I can't remember what she said now. She's very nice as optometrist explaining, you know, because, you know, I'm particularly curious about these sort of things. And, you know, I want to figure out how these sort of things work. Not really work, but, you know, that's have a curious mind. It's probably, you know, long and short of it, to be honest. I can't remember what she said now. It tested. It was testing, obviously, the accuracy somehow, but I can't remember why it was like red and green. Especially. I feel like she said it was the right eye and the left eye, but that doesn't make sense to me. Hold on. And also, another thing, which I definitely should have asked, I don't know why, is like, why would I use red and green? Because isn't red and green the most common form of colour blindness? Surely they should use like red and blue, but I guess it's sort of just something baked into history. Let's see, eye test red, green. What does a red-green test actually do? I know it's to test your prescription. It tests the uses the eye's attribute on how it focuses light of different colours. What? That's not what she told me. Unless she did, and then, you know, I forgot. I just remember, you know, her telling me and being surprised, being like, oh, it's not actually anything to do with the colours. Oh, no, okay, explains it more. Red and green light rays don't fall in the exact same place at the back of your eye due to chromatic aberration. Green rays should fall very slightly in front, and red rays should fall very slightly behind. Oh. If it looks too strong or too weak, it can look blacker or stand out more on one of the colour backgrounds. That's interesting. So it literally has to be red and green. Okay, she didn't explain that part to me, which is fair enough because I didn't ask. In the first place. But then, yeah, you do that one, and then you get, like, the dots on the background or whatever. And she's like, is it clearer 1 or clearer 2? And then you say something clearer 3 and clearer 4. That one I believe is for astigmatism, if I recall. Because that one I actually feel like I asked about when I was younger. Or looked up once. I don't really recall. I keep looking at my missions. I can't remember what I had. Chopwood, water plants, sell fruits. Okay. And we have no fruits. Except it was a very uneventful test this time in the optometrist, because, as I said, my eyesight has not changed. So, you know, I was doing a red and green one, and she's like, does it look clear on the red or the green? And I was just looking at it, be like, they look exactly the same, I think, in my mind. And she was like, yeah, it's totally fine as an answer, don't worry. But I kept being like quite not self-conscious about it, being like, oh man, I feel like I'm not like I'm ruining a test, but it feels weird just to basically be like, oh, does it look better like this? And I was just like, it looks the same. And she was like, does it look clearer 1 or 2? And I remember just being like, oh. No, I remember, you know, it happened this morning, so it's not really much of remembering. But I was just like, would you like to come over and check it out? Sure. I don't think I've been invited over very often to the Animal Crossing other villages. Probably because I don't talk to them while they're thinking. I was just like, you know, it looks the same, you know, and, you know, it's good results because she was just like, wow, your prescription's exactly the same, probably. And she did, of course, test me with the other things as well, you know. She was like, can you read anything from I'm good. I don't want to buy any of your stuff. There's so many cool things. That's right. I'm just gonna sort of sit here and chill while I tell the rest of the story. You know, she you know, got the board with letters out, being like, oh, can you read the bottom row? And you know, I read it completely fine. You know, what about this bottom row? Read it completely fine. It's probably the first time I've been to the optometrist, and I just like aced everything the first time, because every single time previously when I got into an optometrist, my eyesight has gotten worse and worse. So it would be like, can you read a bottom row? And I'd be like, no, but I can kind of see like a D of a third letter, but that's about it. I don't know, I guess a sense of progress of my eyesight stabilising, which was, you know, quite a good thing, I suppose, in the end. Fits your butt perfectly. Wonderful to hear about Biscuit. Let's play a quick game of tag as we sort of ring around a rosy. I don't really know. Want to play a game? Sure. It's a card game, isn't it? the only game Animal Crossing characters know. But I still love that shuffle animation. It's very simple. A 6. You see, statistically, you would say you should go lower here. I think it's high, though. The answer is 2. Oh. I got completely destroyed. Let's play again sometime. Alright, bye, Biscuit. I'm out. Thanks for hanging out with you. Oh, Kiki Mambo! You gave me your... Wait, you don't even have any music playing in your place. Is it because did the clothes replace it? That's quite sad. We should probably refurbish each of our villages' houses at some point. Anyway, the optometrist... Oh yeah, well, this is what I was going to say about the optometrist now, is the tests are completely different, you know. The first one that we start off with is, again, the sort of scanning thing, but it's not a house up the end of a hill anymore. It's now a hot air balloon. And I was like... I was actually... talking about it, still I was like, oh, is this a machine where I get to look at a house at the end of a hill? She's like, yeah, it is. Oh, but it's a hot air balloon now. I was like, no, what happened to the hot air balloon? It was like, what happened to the house? I was like, it's changed. I mean, you know, apparently me telling her that, like, clued her off to that, the fact I hadn't been to an optometrist in a while, because apparently I seen that changed ages ago. So she also like was like, okay, we need to do this machine as well. And I'm not sure if you've seen this machine before, but it's going to basically send a puff of air into your eye. And I was like, okay. I was like, sure, I guess. And she was like, it's not very important, it's just to make you blink. And I was like, all right. So I didn't really know what to expect, but it was not what I got, where it's actually quite a forceful blast. I thought it was going to be just like a little or something, but it was just like and to be fair, it did instinctively make my eye blink. And it's one of the rare times I actually flinched, you know, where I was just like, whoa, straight up, did not expect it. But then, you know, you kind of get used to it and you're just like, oh, whatever. And then, you know, by the time she got to my left eye, you know, stone cold, as I normally am with most of my subdued reactions. I don't really know what that one was to do, but, you know, they're both two different ways of looking at your eye. Like, I remember the first one was to look at the optic nerve in your eye, if I recall. And she was like, yours looks good and healthy. And I was like, oh, you know, what does an unhealthy one look like? And I remember she was like, oh, it's like very cracked, very thin, and that sort of thing, you know. Because it's just like a blood vessel or something up the back of your eye, if I recall. I don't know if the axe broke. It's been a while since we had a bit of a broken axe, but it's time to make a new one. And then she looked at the other one and she was just like, oh yeah, you know, as long as there's no as long as there's no red spots in this like sort of like diagram for your eye, you're good. And and she was like, oh yeah, and your eye looks perfectly healthy. And I was like, what about that red spot right there? And she was like, oh, that's the optic nerve. So there you go. And in case you ever wanted to ask that question to your optometrist and you didn't want to, there you go, you got your answer. That's just the optic nerve and it's meant to look like that, apparently, whatever that means. And then we just did the usual eye test. No, I had eye tests as mainly because I was running out of contact lenses. Crazily, but I had like a box of like 30 contact lenses, which because I tell you, I don't really wear contacts very often. The only time I really wear them is because I'm just like putting makeup on when I'm wearing glasses is a pain. But now I've gotten kind of used to putting makeup on while I'm wearing glasses in the first place, you know. So you know, I just got kind of used to it. And here's my tip: if you wear glasses and you want to put makeup on, is I would not put mascara on. You know, just skip that step entirely, because as you know, as it happens with my eyelashes, mascara just like kept like not painting, is my eyelashes kept brushing up on my lenses somewhat, so it kept like painting my glasses lenses, which was really annoying. So I just didn't put on any mascara now. Anyway, and it also helps that I have folded eyes, so you know, doing I don't need to do any fancy eyeliner most of the time. I can just do the wings and it's fine. So as my hot tips for you for putting on makeup while you've got glasses on. What else I can do? We're going to make a slingshot. Not a slingshot, we're going to make an axe. Sorry. Don't know why I'm apologising. No one really cares that I said a wrong tool. What's I going to say? I honestly forgot what I was going to like follow up with. Oh yeah, I was going to get some new contact lenses. Basically, I don't wear contact lenses most of the time. And most of the time, I'm I just sort of wear my normal glasses. But it's crazy how long those contact lenses had lasted. Like I only just run out. I'm trying to think when I ran out, like at the end of May or something. I bought those like ages ago, and you might be like, did they expire? And I did actually check, and I was like, oh, they have expired, but I had already put them in my eye at that point. I would not recommend doing that. Nothing bad happened, but I'm worried something would. So I'd recommend following the actual expiration date that you see in your glasses, if at all possible. That's just my advice to you. But yeah, I've ordered some contact lenses now. They were like, oh, like 4 or 5 days they'll come in. And I actually got called. I don't think they've called me again since, but they called me like after I got home, being like, oh, it turns out like they don't do your prescription for contact lenses. I was like, what? Like I've only been to you to get my contact lenses in the first place. How's that even possible? But then had to talk about it, and there's because like where they get the supplies from, because they're moving like warehouses or something, they're a bit unreachable at the moment, so it's a bit difficult to actually get in contact with them. So maybe that they do actually do a prescription, they just but they were trying to do it through, maybe they were just like, maybe it has to be like something manually contacted through, because they were trying to apply for it through the online form, but like they couldn't do it because literally my astigmatism is like too high or something for their contact lenses. But I'm literally holding contact lenses I bought from you, and I assume from your warehouse supplier. And they're just like, oh, you're in a rush, you might need to go somewhere else with them. I'm like, I'm not in a rush, I'm going to be honest. I can live without contact lenses for like, a very long time apparently. If 30 of them last me like multiple years, then, I think I'm in the clear. Here's probably how I'd, say that. So yeah, I also do want to get new glasses, because these glasses are very old. The ones I'm wearing, I think I had them before I started uni, or maybe near the start of uni, which puts them at like 6 years old or something. And it's not like I have any like the styling of the glasses. Like I do want to try something new, but also it's mainly because like the protective film of the glasses, the lens in my right eye, right lens has started to come off. Which it actually adds a little bit of blurriness, surprisingly, to the eye, but only like when the glasses are not directly up in my face. Directly up in my face, I can't even tell, to be perfectly honest, but I'm like, this probably isn't the greatest thing to happen. So I was actually looking at my glasses, and to be honest, I don't know what sort of glasses I want. Talking about it then, like with my sister, and I was like looking up things as well, and I decided I want larger glasses. I've got quite narrow frames right now, but I'm like, I want to try some larger frames. And apparently they're quite nice. I talked to my sister, she's got some larger frames, and she says they're quite nice as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, before I looked at it as well, I think it would suit me quite well, because I have quite a long face. Having narrow frames kind of just sort of accentuates how long my face is. Having like taller frames help sort of like gives a sense of balance to that, and like artistic balance and all that sort of thing. But I was looking at them, and I was just sort of like, I'm not super swayed by those sort of these, but there was this like nice pair of Calvin Klein glasses I quite like. But I gotta go research basically some frames that I particularly like. But until then, I don't know when I'm gonna get new frames. I will at some point. There's something I should certainly do. But for now, I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join my Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.